The idea of having multiple nomad bases around the world is a highly appealing way for a lot of people to live, where they want to spend time in 2 or 3 or 5 different places around the world in any given year. They want one place for the beach, one place for the city, one place that's business friendly. And so I've talked about the idea of not only having nomad bases, but if you can, buying real estate in those different countries, not only to potentially benefit from upside in the real estate market in the coming years as a long-term investment or a long-term currency play, but also just as a way to keep your life seamless. And so I've talked about my experience with 5 properties that I don't rent out, that I use, for my team members, for my friends. And people have said that must be very expensive. And it's not. Today I'm going to walk you through, having done all the numbers, exactly what it costs me to maintain these 5 properties every year. Hi, I'm Andrew Henderson here at Nomad Capitalist. Myself, my team, and our global network help 7- and 8-figure entrepreneurs legally go where you're treated best. You can learn more at nomadcapitalist.com. And today I'm going to walk you through my own personal portfolio of residences, what we call the Nomad Collection around here, and explain why it actually is relatively affordable to keep homes around the world. Now, I've made videos on YouTube where I've talked about why I keep empty homes, for example. You can go and watch that. I've also made a video where I talk about why I have 0 debt. So none of the expenses we're going to talk about today are mortgage payments. They are just actually the actual cost of maintaining the properties. And so what I've chosen to do personally with these 5 different properties that may grow in the future is I've chosen to keep these open so that when I want to travel somewhere, when I want to go in the summer to Montenegro, for example, I have a place that's ready. I have everything set up for me. I can go and I can immediately get to work. Increasingly, as our team has grown to now around 30 people, we have people in a normal year that will be traveling. And since my interest in countries and where I live somewhat or sometimes lines up with where we have business interests, I might send people on my team to travel. And so now, instead of booking someone into a nice hotel in Montenegro for 200 euros a night, they could stay at my house. And I've made use of that. I don't look at this from a yield perspective, and people think I'm losing a lot of money. And certainly, I could make money renting these properties out, but to me, it just wouldn't make sense. Now, those are the terms. Let me go through the individual properties and let me share with you. I have, as I've gotten older now, and as I've gone from being single to being married and potentially looking at the future, I have started to look at somewhat bigger properties. I have also stuck to, for example, here in Belgrade, where I am right now, more of a business hub. So some of these properties are smaller than others. There was a time 4 or 5 years ago when my goal was simply to have an above average size hotel room. Now you'll see properties that range from 700 square feet up to 3,500 square feet. And I'm going to go through the numbers with you now. And I'll start with my favorite property in terms of just blowing people away with the low cost. This is a home in Tbilisi, Georgia. I bought this a couple years ago, right in the city center, renovated it, made it very nice. Here are the costs. Again, no mortgage in these, because in a country like Georgia, you'd have very high mortgage rates. Just wouldn't be worth it. The maintenance cost of the building, it's an old building in the city center, technically is 0. The building leader, I don't know who our building leader is, but occasionally someone will come around. I think we got a knock on the door recently when we were back in Tbilisi. Can you chip in 50 lari, about 16 bucks? There was a program the government was doing where they were coming around and improving the facades, and the deal is the owners in the building have to chip in 10%, and I think our commitment there once every couple of years is a couple $100. No formal monthly maintenance fees though. No property taxes, as I do not have enough income coming from Georgian sources, other real estate income, salary, that kind of thing, from Georgia to qualify to pay property taxes. Now, the numbers I'm going to give you for this property and all the other properties are the numbers that I've gone through over the last year or two from my bank statements, from my records, the months when I'm not in the property. So if you go there, you pay more because you're using more electricity. But since the idea is how much does it cost to maintain the homes, I'm going to share with you the numbers for what it costs just to maintain when you're not there. The annual electric bill for me in Tbilisi, if you annualize the months when I'm not there, came out to a US dollar conversion of $15, $15, about $1 a month. I've taken the numbers in the local currency, converted them. As of today, the US dollar is a little bit weaker against many of these currencies than it has been. $15 a year for electric. Water, $14 a year. Trash, there's a city trash service. They debit my bank account every month. That's $9 a year. And then the internet, the most expensive expense by far, I have a 100 meg internet connection, which was a little bit of a pain to get that faster internet installed in this older building in kind of the cool part of town. $183 a year. And so you go back, you have the internet waiting for you, you don't need to mess around. So that property, I mean, you're literally talking about $200 a year just to keep that cranking. Now, to the place where a lot of you know that I spent a lot of time in Kuala Lumpur. I am in the process of selling a property there, or will be soon, haven't really gotten around to it. So this list does not include anything rented, does not include anything that's just sitting that's going to be going. So the largest property, maintenance, this is the biggest one, $4,763 per year. So that's not, it's not nothing, but when you're the city center of a big city in Asia, you've got a good sized property. I think you'd pay a lot more. I think my parents probably paid a lot more for property tax in many places. The property tax bill here, $776. The electric bill, when you're not there, we went back over the last year because the property was a foreclosure. It was empty. $605 was the electric bill for the last year, with the electricity actually turned on, of course. Water bill, $47, handled through the building. And the internet, when I move that over, once that's ready, $438 for a 500 meg internet connection. Seemed a little bit high actually, but that's what we came up with. So that property, you're looking at a little bit higher number. You've got the most space out of all. Now, Bogota Columbia. I've shown some of you that video, and I look back to myself and I say, whenever you make a video, don't spend the previous month eating tacos at street stands in Mexico City and then go to Bogota and make videos. It's just not the best way to go about it. But calculated the cost. Now, in Colombia, what you often have in buildings, apartment buildings, condo buildings, you'll have an admin cost, which is a bit more expensive than other places like in Malaysia because you've got a bit more aggressive security. You've got two guys who are real hardcore, but very nice guys, 24/7. And so $1,836 per year. You have the peso at relatively high against the dollar right now. That includes the admin. It also includes gas for things like heating. Property tax, $987 a year. Electric, $240 a year, so $20 a month. Water, $197 a year. So you're looking at, again, about $3,000 to keep that property sitting there. Now, let's go to Tivat Montenegro on Boca Columbia, as they say. Again, building, nothing formal. Nobody's managing it. There's not a big guard sitting at the door. It's just everyone gets together and pitches in as needed. It's a little bit newer building, relatively newer building, so you have zero maintenance costs. Electricity, a lot of these bills are paid annually actually. It's not a monthly bill, so it's easier. I have a property manager there who handles the bills for me. $303 a year for electric, which includes, again, just the basic electricity. It doesn't include going there and turning on the floor and heater or anything like that. $121 for water. It's about 100 euros per year. $225 a year for trash the government collects. And then there's about $480 a year in various taxes that you have to pay when you're there. Internet in this particular place, it has been interesting. I turn on the internet only when I'm there, and it comes out to about $48 a month. The speeds are actually pretty good. I'm not exactly sure how fast it is. Montenegro is certainly a place where you've got to, it's a bit more hands-on. Online banking for banks, they have it, but it's not like a great thing. Paying bills online, pretty much forget it. You have someone, hopefully you have someone going to an office and paying some guy sitting at a card table smoking at 2 o'clock on a Tuesday afternoon. That's how you pay your water bill once a year. And then here in Belgrade, we're waiting on the final numbers, but we've pretty closely estimated. There's a service here in Belgrade run by, I suppose, the government called Infostan, which is your building administration, just locally to keep things running. The water, the gas for heating, which is run by the city, and then your trash collection. That's $1,451 per year. $420 in tax, we're finalizing that number. $127 in electric, again, not there. $290 for, I think, 200 meg internet. And so if you add all that up, it comes to $13,575. Why do I mention this? Well, two reasons. Number one, I know widows on Long Island in New York who are paying more than that in property taxes for one home. And we're not talking about a Great Gatsby mansion. We're talking about a nice but relatively normal suburban home. And I've had some people that I've worked with who are from New York, and their property tax bills are $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 a year. I remember back in the 1990s, I wrote about this in my book. My parents, for numerous other reasons, decided to leave the city in Cleveland, Ohio, where we lived, and move a little bit further west into a more up-and-coming area. And one of the things they talked about how is, I think we were paying something like $9,000 or $10,000 a year in property tax for what was a nice house, nice street, near the lake. But we're not talking, we were not living like billionaires by any means. $9,000 or $10,000 a year. Now you had, I guess, people said, good public school system. But when you look at so many other places in the U.S. and around the world, you can get such a better deal. And so, $13,575, certainly I can save that not staying at hotels in these places, spend anywhere from a month to a couple months, even more in some of these places. When I'm not there, certainly I could rent it out. It seems like that would cause me a lot of problems. I wouldn't want to get into that for a place that I'm going to. And I look at that as when I have looked out at more developed market countries. When I look at a property in Montreal, for example, you might pay that much in school tax. The expenses are incredible. And so for me personally, you don't have to copy my strategy, but for me personally, I like the places that are a bit off the grid. I like the places that are not name brand. I like places where you can get value. Obviously, if you choose to move to Switzerland, if you choose to move to Canada, if you choose to move to London, there could be tax-friendly elements of that move. We've helped people do that. But your property taxes are going to be equally as high. And so this is not to say that if you simply leave your country, everywhere else on earth is cheaper. But for the countries that I believe are interesting, are up and coming, that offer nice places to pop in, or in the case of a Malaysia, for example, or maybe a Belgrade, you spend 3 months, 6 months of the year, you make it part of your trifecta or your base strategy. You can do that, and you can own properties, and you can keep them available to you for $13,575 a year. And so I think coming from the West, that is not a bad deal. It's why, again, I can make that just, sending some of my team members to, hey, you're going there, stay in the house. Or I make it a benefit for certain people. Or I'll make it something where, hey, my friends will stay there, whatever. So to me, pretty low price. Probably surprising to a lot of folks who are paying those high property taxes in places like the US, in places like Australia or Canada, where the bills are outrageous. And I think if you look at homes around the world, you'll see low property taxes, if not none at all. You'll see very low maintenance costs, lower utility rates, and you can actually build a portfolio that you can use around the world without a lot of needless expense. How can Nomad Capitalist help you? 4 ways. Number 1, subscribe to our channel and click the notification bell to make sure you get our new video every day. Number 2, get a copy of Nomad Capitalist, the book. You'll learn a lot of my personal experiences over a dozen years of studying this stuff, as well as exactly some of the strategies that you can use to build your Nomad Capitalist plan. Number 3, if you're not sure where to start, but you want to come and learn from my team and I, you want to come and mingle with like-minded people, learn more about our live conference, Nomad Capitalist Live. It's coming up soon. And number 4, if you want some help right now because you've got a burning issue, you need something solved, you want to lower your taxes, get a second passport, or build the Nomad Capitalist lifestyle of your dreams, go to nomadcapitalist.com and click on Become a Client.